What up, people? It's your boy. I'm back with some theories and possibilities, particularly from season 3 of the TV hit show from its own MGM Plus. If you haven't seen this, you need to go check it out. There will be no spoilers, but these are just my thoughts and opinions about season 3, as well as what we can look forward to and our expectations of season 4, and some things that have been going around the interwebs, particularly Discord. So let's get into it. Now, the first order of business is a lot of people are peddling this opinion that Thomas Matthew is the man in yellow. This is who Thomas Matthew is going to grow into. And a lot of people are pushing this, particularly on Discord and Reddit. And I think they're borrowing this theory from a theory I saw in Discord, particularly on the internet, when everyone had the thought that Jim Matthew and Victor's father was one and the same. Victor Matthew is the present. It is the present, and Victor father is the past. And Tabitha and Miranda are the same as well. Now, in the outcome of season 3, episode 10, we find out that Tabitha was in fact Miranda, but Jade was I forgot the doll maker's name. I do apologize. And I think they switched it around because everybody was on this theory. And I think this is what the writers were going to ultimately push. And they probably rewritten it again because they just didn't want the writing to be similar to what people were saying on the interweb. So they probably changed it. And by them changing it, there's really no need. There was really no need for Jim Matthew to continue on because Jade is pretty much taking his place. And I've been saying this ever since season 1. Season 1, Jim Matthews was the guy that was, trying to find out answers or why they're stuck in the town and this, that, and the third, and then they sort of, gravitated those responsibilities to Jade, and Jim Matthews was just along for the ride. It was Jim Matthews' ideal of the tower, of, sending a signal. It was Jim Matthews' ideal of having a board, which they had in their house, of where they are they alive? All these questions he had written on the wall. It was Jim that was more proactive into trying to figure out why they're there, why is this town there, and why is everyone stuck there, and can they get out, or even if they're alive or not, okay? So Jim Matthews was spearheading all that, and then from midway through season 1 until now, they just gave all those responsibilities to Jade. And, now with season 3 already in the book, there's no real need for Jim Matthews. I'm not going to go into that. I did that on on last week's video. Go check it out. But here is the theory, and I'm kind of gravitating to this theory. And I must say I have put some ideas and thoughts into this theory too, that maybe Jim Matthew, and this is a theory, and nothing is concrete in this theory. So this is just a working theory that you can, agree or disagree with, whatever you want to do. But what if Victor's father was indeed Jim Matthews in the past, and the man in yellow is Jim Matthews of the future, which will make perfect sense, and it will fit in the time frame because Julia has the capabilities of time travel. And the Julia that was trying to warn Jim Matthews was not the same Julia in that time frame. This Julia was more in the future, and she was trying to fix what took place in that time frame. If you had watched the movie Flash, and even though a lot of people thought that movie bombed, it was a decent movie. But the premises are there. What they're doing with this storyline that I've already seen in Flash, where the Flash was able to go into time, but he couldn't change the events. The events were going to happen, you know, whether or not, if he, was there, or if he, moved some people around, the events were still going to happen. And that's what Thomas was trying to explain to Julia in the present, that yeah, you have the possibility of going into time, but you can't undo things that have already been written or have already happened. Okay, you're just there as a vessel to see this thing play out. All right, so this is why this theory, in essence, could work in the writing and as far as the timeline of From. Maybe we're looking at three different gems. Now, it's kind of hard to make this theory work because Jim was in the same time frame as Victor's father. Well, how can you explain that? Okay. Maybe you have something there with the man in yellow and Jim, but what about Victor and Jim? I mean, they were pretty much, Victor's father and Jim, they were pretty much in the same time frame. So, how do you explain that? And how do we know that Tabitha did not go into the past? How do we know Tabitha didn't go into another dimension that was similar to the world that she's accustomed to before she was trapped into the town? How do we know that she was even in the same time frame as she left when she got stuck in the town by that, got stuck in the town? She could have went to another time frame that was similar to what she was accustomed to, okay? And got Victor's father, into the ambulance, and now Victor's father is stuck, has traveled with Tabitha back to that town, and now he's stuck there too. No, that was never explained, okay? And it goes to when the town folks were, crapping on Tabitha, saying, "Oh, well, you could have told somebody, you could have said something, you could have done something while you was out there." How do anyone know that she went into the same universe, or into the same, well, she was in the same time frame uh, that they're currently in right now? She could have went to another dimension. She could have went into another time frame. She could have went into the future. She could have went into the past before. She could have went before all these current events happened, where everyone was stuck in the town, or she could have went after these events. Okay, so there's really no clue on whether or not which part of the time frame she landed in. Okay, so that's why I could kind of explain Victor's father. Maybe Victor's father is Jim Matthews, but in the past, okay, or in another dimension of the past, Tabitha brings Victor's father back, okay? And now there's a possibility where, Victor father and Jim Matthew are one and the same, okay? This is I can understand why people would probably say that this probably could not happen, but there is a small possibility of this actually happening. And then that would explain the man in yellow. Maybe this is Jim Matthews of the future, of another dimension. And there's a reason why he killed Jim Matthews. Now, at the end, he said that you should have, all this, the quest of knowledge comes with consequences. And Jim Matthews it was going to be the casualty of those consequences. Now, but we can all say that since now Jade is more important than Jim, the writers felt like there's no real storylines for Jim Matthews. Okay, now he believes his wife. There was a wedge between him and his wife. Now he's on the same line of communication with his wife. His daughter, his daughter is on the same line of communication with him. I think it was kind of fragile with his son, but I never thought that the son, his son wanted to be disowned by his father. Okay, so he was supporting his father, and the father was supporting the son. It wasn't the same relationship like it was in season one, but I didn't see no signs of, you know, there's a wedge between this relationship. If anything, the relationship got stronger. Okay, so um, that's the working theory. I believe that's more plausible. Now, a lot of people are saying that the son is the man in yellow, and I talked about that briefly. Uh, Timothy, I think no, Ethan Matthews. Everyone's thinking Ethan Matthews is the man in yellow, and he has a resentment towards Jim Matthews. Now, maybe in another parallel universe, Jim Matthews didn't have a good relationship with his son. His son grew up uh, grew up hating his father, or there was a wedge in their relationship, and he believed that the father didn't work hard enough. Jim Matthews didn't work hard enough uh, to support the relationship of father and son, and grew up resenting his father. Now, we have seen this in countless movies and in countless shows where the relationship between father and son is not on the best terms. And maybe in another universe, that's plausible. That's a possibility. I understand why people think that the man in yellow is Ethan, but I really think the man in yellow is Jim Matthews of the future. I can connect storylines with Jim Matthews and the man in yellow. I can't say about Victor's father and Jim Matthews. How can you make the connections there? That will have to do. You have to do more storytelling, more writing, more development to explain why there's a connection between Victor's father and Jim Matthews. But I can understand why people think the man in yellow is Jim Matthews. Okay, so and at the end of the day, these could be all three different characters. Okay, but that's what's going on the interwebs. That's what's going on with what everyone's talking about on Discord. So I just thought that this was an idea that we can talk about. Guys, tell me what you think. Comment in the comment section. I know people are going to say that I'm crazy, but I really do think that this possibly could make some sense. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.